Virtual Creative Factory in Colorado.
Browser past all the familiar websites and dive deep into the hidden corners of the internet to demystify the dark web. So let's kick things off with a fact that might just blow your mind. Everything you can find on Google, every news site, every social media page, every online store, that's just a tiny, tiny fraction of what the internet actually is. It's really just the tip of the iceberg.
See, underneath this surface web that we're all so familiar with, there's this vast digital landscape that's been intentionally hidden from plain sight.
And this chart, wow, it really puts things into perspective, doesn't it? A staggering 90+% of the internet isn't searchable on standard search engines. This massive hidden part is called the deep web. And tucked away inside of that is an even more secluded, more mysterious section, the dark web.
Okay, so what are these hidden layers of the internet really? And who's using them? And why? Let's pull back that curtain and see what's going on.
Okay, so first things first, it is absolutely crucial to get the difference between two terms that get mixed up all the time, the deep web and the dark web.
All right, let's talk about the deep web. And it's probably not what you're picturing. It's not some scary, forbidden place. It's simply the parts of the internet that search engines can't get to. In fact, I'd bet you used it just today, maybe even an hour ago.
Yeah, just think about it. Your email inbox, your cloud storage, that online banking portal you use, all of that is the deep web. It's just stuff that's kept private for good reason, for security and privacy.
Okay, now the dark web, that's a different story. It's a tiny, very specific corner of the deep web, and it was built from the ground up with one goal in mind: total anonymity. You can't just stumble upon it. You need special software just to get in the door.
And because of that anonymity, it's become this hub for a whole spectrum of activities. We're talking everything from illegal marketplaces all the way to essential platforms for activists living under oppressive regimes.
So, you're probably wondering, how on earth do they pull off this level of anonymity? Well, the magic behind it all is a technology called Tor.
So Tor stands for the Onion Router, which is actually the perfect name for it. Imagine your data is like a little secret message. Tor wraps that message up in multiple layers of encryption, just like an onion. Then it sends it bouncing through this random worldwide network of volunteer computers. At every single stop, just one layer of encryption gets peeled away, revealing only where to go next. The genius part? By the end of the journey, no single computer knows both where the message started and where it ended up.
But here's the kicker, the really surprising part. This technology wasn't dreamed up by some shadowy hacker group in a basement. Nope, it was actually developed by the U.S. Naval Research Laboratory back in the 90s to protect their own intelligence communications.
So because it's so hidden, the dark web has, maybe ironically, become this incredibly valuable source of information for the good guys. We're talking cybersecurity pros, journalists, and law enforcement.
This whole practice has a name: open source intelligence, or OSINT for short. It's kind of like being a digital detective. All the clues are technically public, but you have to know exactly where to look and how to piece them all together.
For investigators, this makes the dark web a kind of early warning system. They can spot data leaks and cyber threats brewing long before they hit the headlines.
And you can't just dive in with your regular web browser, right? Navigating this world requires a whole specialized toolkit. For example, investigators use specific search engines like Amia or Torch to find those .onion sites that are totally invisible to Google. They'll also use directories like the Hidden Wiki to get curated lists of active sites and communities.
And all of this anonymity that Tor provides, it creates a place of incredible extremes. It really is the definition of a double-edged sword.
On the one hand, yeah, it's got a dark reputation for a reason. It hosts those infamous darknet markets where people sell illegal goods. It's a hub for cybercrime as a service, and it could be a breeding ground for extremist groups.
But, and this is a huge but, on the other hand, that exact same anonymity is an absolute lifeline. It's a tool for whistleblowers to leak information safely, for political activists to organize without being watched, and for regular people who just want to protect their privacy.
Okay, so this brings us to a really important point. Venturing into this hidden world, even if you're just doing research, is packed with risks. So how do investigators, and anyone else for that matter, navigate these shadows safely?
The absolute key is something called operational security, or OPSEC. And it's not really about one specific piece of software. It's a mindset. It means constantly being aware of your digital footprint and taking very deliberate steps to make sure your real-world identity stays protected. For people who need the highest level of security, experts often point to two amazing tools. First, there's Tails. It's a whole operating system that runs off a USB stick and leaves zero trace on the computer you use it on. Then there's Wannix, which is even more advanced. It uses two separate virtual machines to completely isolate your online activity, making it incredibly hard for anything to leak your real IP address.
When you step back and look at the whole picture, the dark web really reflects this fundamental tension, this big conflict at the heart of our digital world. And it leaves us with a huge, critical question, one that doesn't have an easy answer. Is total digital anonymity a dangerous weapon for criminals? Or is it our last real defense for privacy in an age where it feels like we're always being watched?
Virtual Creative Factory.